Hello everyone. In this video I show you how to create this kind of projection mapping effect. It is similar to the famous tracer plugin from Resolume, and the concept here is simple. Take a photo of the surface and export the shapes you want as separate image files. By switching through these shapes and projecting them back to the physical surface, you will get this classic projection mapping effect. I will show you how to rebuild this tracer effect, but I also want to point out my tracer TD plugin on Patreon. That is a plug and play TOX file with some additional features and controls like you can see here. I will keep extending this plugin over time and add more features as well. You can also check out my online course about projection mapping on my website reflect.net to learn more techniques for 2D and 3D mappings as well as surface-aware content creation. And now let's get back to the tutorial. Okay, before you start you need of course a projection surface. So I will be using this mandala here, and here you also see my projector set up. And yeah, now you just need to take a photo from the front. Yeah, it doesn't have to be from a specific perspective. And yeah, I will use Photopea now as my image editing software to extract the different shapes. It's free, runs in your browser, but they also have an app that runs more full screen. Of course, you can also use Photoshop or any other photo editing software that you have. Then first step is to create a new project. Let's call this here tracer, and create it in the output resolution of your projector. So my projector has 1280 by 800 pixels output, and I just set the background to transparent and yeah, create my canvas. Then you need to import the photo of your projection surface. So this here is the original image that I took here. So I'm just gonna drag and drop it into here. And then I just try to center it and also have the main subject in as focus so that it covers most of our image here. So like this. And then let's also export this already. So export as PNG. And I will put that into my project folder here, right next to the original. So I just call it, let's just keep it tracer. And what we want to do now is to create a new layer for each shape. Yeah. So I will start maybe with this inner blue kind of lotus shapes here, or maybe with these yellow ones, and you have a couple of different options. So you can just use the magic wand, which is like automatic selection. So as you see, I just have to click and it detects already the shapes here. Yeah, you can, if you click and hold and then drag it, you can adjust the tolerance so that you really only select your output shape that you want. But of course you can also do it manually. So here are a couple of options. For example, the lasso select tool. Let's deselect everything, and there you can do your selection manually. Yeah, let's say I want to have this triangle here. I can select my shape like this. Okay, but because the magic wand tool here is working fine, I'm just gonna use that. And before you start, think already about the order of your shapes. So I want to have it kind of clean, and I will start with this shape here, and then you can just copy, Control C and Control V to paste it, and then as you see, we have this now as a separate layer here. Then you just have to select the original layer again, select the next one, copy, paste, and do the same again and again till you have all your shapes. So I'm just gonna fast forward this. Oh yeah, and also if you want to see which shapes you have already, you can just turn off the visibility of the original here. Okay, as you can see, I have now these shapes selected, and just for the sake of being organized, let's put them into a new kind of folder or group. So I'll just call this shape 1. And then I just move on to the next shapes that I want to extract. So here these blue shapes, and as you can see, if I adjust the threshold here, which I have to do to select only what I want there. And again, just Control C and Control V to make it a new layer. So let's group this together and call it shape 2. Then next I will select these green areas here. And of course you can create as many different groups as you want and only extract the shapes that you want. But yeah, I will use almost everything here, so I will just fast forward it. Okay, here I can actually make use of the lasso select tool here, the polygonal. You can of course also use the other ones here depending on your shape. And I want to group these together here. The blue ones. So I'm just going to select them and merge the layers. And again, these 4 I also merge together. Okay, I think I have all the different layers now that I want. Yeah, so I also have them grouped here so that I can later only activate and deactivate the shapes that I want for my mapping. Okay, then we just have to export each separate layer. So you can do that in Photopea very easily. Just export layers and just uncheck all of that here. And it's going to export it in one zip file with all the shapes separated. And as you can see now, we have all our shapes as separate images now. But Photopea doesn't keep the groups, the layer groups, so I'm just going to do that manually now. So let's see, we have shape 1 are our layers 1 to 12. So 1 to 12 I'm going to select and put them in a new folder. And I'm just going to do that for all shapes now. Small recap on everything that we did so far. First, we created a new image in the size of our resolution. And then we dragged and dropped our original photo of our projection surface inside, centered it, and then we created new layers for each separate shape. And then we just exported it using export layers. And after that I also just put the groups together in one folder here. I will also just save the file here as a PSD file, just in case I want to change something later on. Okay, now the TouchDesigner part. So let's create it here from scratch. And the first thing you need to do, just import the shapes from one of your groups, just all of them. And then let's add a switch. Select all, connect them to the switch, and also add a null. And as you can see now, when we switch between the inputs, well, we get all the different shapes. But of course we don't want to do it manually all the time, so let's add a timer chop here and a count. Right click and add a count, and also add a null. Then we just have to adjust some settings here. So in the timer, just deactivate this parameter here, set the length for 1 to now. Yeah, we can change it later. Activate cycle and deactivate the cycle limit. Under segments, under outputs, we only need, you can deactivate them all, we only need the cycle pulse. In our count chop, we only need to set the limit to loop minimum maximum, and inside the limit maximum, just set it to this expression here, len op switch 1 and inputs -1, and this will get the number of inputs from our switch here, so that we don't have to adjust it manually all the time. Yeah. Now when you start the timer, so initialize and start, you see that we get these numbers here, and we can reference this null2 parameter here to our index, and this will now automatically switch through all of our images. Next step, we will add a feedback loop. So just add a feedback top here. After that, a level top. Let's add a composite. Drag and drop the composite back to the feedback loop, and also connect the null1 to the composite and set the operation to over. And now we can adjust the in the level top under post, the opacity, just set it down a bit to leave this trail behind. Oh, let's actually activate this output here. And as you see, now it looks a bit smoother, but we still have always something left here from the feedback, and we can fix that by just adding let's add a resolution top here behind the switch, and under common set the pixel format to 32-bit float. That way the feedback will disappear completely. You can now use the timer, the length parameter here, to adjust the speed. So if you go down, it's going to be faster, and if you increase the length between each pulse, of course it gets longer. Okay, so you can play with the length parameter here and also with the opacity here. The lower it is, the faster the feedback disappears, and the higher, the longer it will stay. Okay, then let's deactivate the display flag here and add an out top behind. And now we can just select all of this here and right click and collapse selected, and this will put everything into one base container here. And now we can just make copies. So let's say I have 6 groups here, so I'm gonna create 5 more copies. And now we can just go into each of these components here and replace the inputs. So I'm going to delete the original ones, and in here I'm gonna add all the shapes from group number 2. And I'm just going to do that now for all of my groups. And let's also activate the viewers here, so we can see we have now all our groups separate here. And yeah, we can connect them all to a composite. So let's create a composite, select all of them, connect them here, and set the operation to over. Let's also add a null here. And as you can see now, this is our output here. And now we can activate and deactivate the parts that we want. So if you only want to have the first 2 active, you can just leave these 2 and activate and deactivate how you want them. You can also go now into each of these components and adjust the timing separately here. Just to your likings. The next step is to prepare our mapping. So let me just deactivate the background here. And under palette, mapping, we need 2 components. One is the stoner tool. Just drag and drop it into the network. And we will also use the Kantan mapper. So I'll connect the null here to the stoner. Add another null. And also add 1 null here. And we can also add a window comp already. Okay, here is my projector setup. Just set it up in a way that the projector covers your projection surface completely. And turn off automatic keystone corrections, and that's it. Okay, now to the mapping part. First thing you need to do is drag and drop the resized image with the resolution of your projector that we saved in the beginning in your network here, and just connect this for now to the stoner here. And then let's open the Kantan mapper and also set your projector resolution here. So mine is 1280 by 800. Go to window options and specify the monitor output which represents your projector, and hit toggle output. Okay, this is the wrong one, so it's number 2 for me. Now we need to create a mask for our projection surface so that we will only output content in that area. So I'm going to create a freeform here under tools, and then you can, as you see, this crosshair here, and you can then just create a mask. And you can also adjust the single points here by clicking on them and using your arrow keys on your keyboard to adjust it pixel by pixel. Okay, and then drag and drop this null 2 top here, and this will output now the original image here. We can close now the Kantan mapper and go to the stoner tool, open the stoner window, and in here we can now drag these corners here around till it matches our real world projection surface. Yeah, you can just scroll out here if you need more space. Use the middle mouse button to drag it around. So I'm just going to adjust this now till it fits. Okay, that looks good. So let's close it. And let's also open the Kantan window again and hit toggle output. And now I just want to output the adjusted content here with our window comp. That way we don't get that crosshair anymore. So I'm just going to set this to my monitor output here. Deactivate borders and always on top on, and open a separate window. Okay, and now we can just replace the original image with our input here, and voila, we created a tracer effect projection mapping. And like you can see now, you can deactivate or activate the parts that you want to be active. So let's say I only want to have the little dots and this one. I can also go inside here now and adjust the speed, make it faster. Can also adjust the feedback length here. If I play around with the opacity, if I make it shorter, it disappears fast, and if I set it close to 1, it will stay way longer. Alright, that's it for the tutorial. I hope you liked it, and yeah, go and check out my Patreon or my website. I have way more techniques for projection mapping, and yeah, you will also support me with that and make sure I can create more free videos like this one here. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Peace out.